What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. All right, moving on to our mailbag. So, first question, genuine question. If you were the Lakers, as bad as this is, would you tank the Pelicans game just for a chance to play Oklahoma City and be on the other side of the bracket from Denver? So here's the thing. I've actually, by the way, not only did I get a bunch of mailbag questions about this, I've seen a lot of reputed sports media professionals going out on their shows today and saying the Lakers should do this. I think that's insane. To put it simply, there has never been a winner who has approached things like that. The idea of lose intentionally is not in a winner's vocabulary. You handle your business against the Pelicans, and then you go up against Denver and you either slay the dragon or you die trying. That is the appropriate response to this situation. Obviously, if you happen to be the 8th seed, you like your chances of making a deeper run if you can play Oklahoma City first and then the winner of Mavs Clippers in the second round. Obviously, Oklahoma City is a really good matchup for the Lakers. If the Lakers played the Thunder in the first round, I would pick the Lakers to win that series. Whereas with Denver, I'm picking Denver. So I understand the situation. But the bottom line is two things. First of all, it's a loser mentality to ever run away from a challenge or to purposefully lose anything. And then two, let's say you do lose on Tuesday, which, by the way, they might lose. I don't know if you guys noticed, the Pelicans are favored. They're a 1-point favorite against the Lakers tomorrow. I think the Lakers are going to win tomorrow, but I do think the Pelicans have a chance. They just got humiliated. The Lakers will come out more relaxed than they did in the Sunday game. The Pelicans will come out more desperate than they did in the Sunday game. All they have to do is linger around for 2.5 quarters, and then it becomes about shot making, and maybe the Pelicans make enough shots and they win. If that happens, and the Lakers try to beat the Pelicans and they happen to lose, then it's after the game when you're in the locker room, you're like, man, this sucks. We really tried to win. We lost, but hey, all we got to do is beat the winner of this Kings-Warriors game, and then we get a really good first-round matchup. So, yeah, you can kind of think that way if you happen to lose, but no doubt you go into that Tuesday game trying like crazy to win. And most importantly, you never want to be in a single elimination game, especially when you can't guard De'Aaron Fox and you can't guard Steph Curry. That is completely a completely unacceptable risk in this particular type of situation. You take the win against the Pelicans if you can get it, and then you roll the dice against Denver. This Lakers team and last year's Laker team are very, very different. I would pick Denver, but I do think this Lakers team is a little better than last year's Lakers team, and I do think that they have a chance they have some small chance to win that series. It's the same chance that they're going to have to deal with in a later round. Personally, as a Lakers fan, I'd rather go into that series with a healthy Jared Vanderbilt and a little bit more defensive kind of like polishing over a couple weeks of playoff games, but that's not the situation. This is the situation. You don't lose on purpose. You go beat the Pelicans, let the chips fall where they may against Denver. Hey, Jason, looking forward to the draft, which is deemed to be weak. What do you think the Spurs should be looking at? Who do you think the Spurs should be looking at taking with their high pick? I think Matas Buzelis is the best option for them to find a genuine running mate to Victor. What do you think? Thanks for the amazing content. I hope you have a big coffee supply for the playoffs. Love your playoff content. Thank you for supporting the show. And yeah, it's always a grind, but it's also fun. I was actually talking about that yesterday. The playoffs are a ton of work, but they are also just a ton of fun because it's incredible basketball every single night, high stakes basketball every single night. Can't beat that. Here's the thing. I have not covered the draft yet, so I'm not going to give you guys a take on who I think the Spurs should draft. Also, there are guys that cover the draft year round. I do it for like a couple weeks. So like, I'm not really I don't claim to be some sort of draft expert. That said, I will do a bunch of draft work once we get outside of the NBA finals, and I'll give you guys my take when we get there. As far as the Spurs go though, like, I would be using that first round draft pick to bring in a veteran shot creator. That's what I would do, especially in a draft this particularly weak. But it depends on which player is available. If they find a good player, and again, I have to scout the players to really give you an informed opinion on that. But I think Victor is going to be let me pull these stats up because I ran into these stats after Victor sat out game 82. I wanted to kind of pull up his numbers. But Victor has been preposterously good. To give you guys an idea, Last 45 games this season, Victor Wembanyama, 23 points, 11 rebounds, and four assists per game, 5.1 steals plus blocks, 59% true shooting percentage. And in those 45 games, the Spurs were plus 28 with Victor on the floor, minus 230 with him off the floor. So to put it simply, I think Victor Wembanyama is right around the corner from being a top 10, top 5 player in this league. Your timeline is different. So you don't have time to bring in some rookie that's going to take 6-7 years to turn into a good basketball player. Your timeline is now. And so because of that, I would be looking to bring in higher level talent. There are ways to do that in terms of the timeline. Like you can go target lottery picks that flamed out at other teams. And that's kind of how the Lakers got like Rui Hachimura or Malik Monk or Lonnie Walker over the last couple of years, right? Like you can find those guys around the league. You can find talented young players to kind of maintain some of your flexibility. But at the end of the day, like I want to see Victor alongside a veteran shot creator. He's a top 10 player in the league next year in all likelihood. I want to see what that looks like. I want to give him a real fighting chance. Obviously, it's all about like proper decision-making and spending. So like you don't want to overpay, but in terms of like where you're looking, I would be looking for that type of trade upgrade first. If nothing like that is there, then you look at the draft and you look for what kind of player is available. And again, we'll give you guys some more picks when we get further down the line. Next question, I should say. Would you entertain the idea of doing interviews with NBA players? If so, who would you be interested in having on the show? Here's the thing. We haven't done it before. We'll probably do it eventually. My thing with interviews of NBA players is like, I really only find them interesting when they talk about basketball. And a lot of the guys, they don't really want to talk about basketball when they do interviews or they're more, they serve a different purpose than an actual just authentic basketball conversation. So in terms of like talking with a player, I won't throw a specific player out. I'll just say this. Players that actually want to sit down and get in the weeds of basketball, I'm always down to talk with. I think that'd be a lot of fun. It's not really but this is not an interview show. It's not really what we do, right? Like this is kind of just a film study show and a basketball analysis show, but I'm not going to say it'll never happen and it probably will happen at some point in the future. I just personally would like to do it on a basketball level and not so much a superficial level. Last question. Hey, Jason, great podcast. Love it. I was just wondering, do you play all those guitars behind you? Because there are some lovely PRSs there on the wall every time. So yeah, I do play. I'm not particularly good at it. Like I will freely admit that I think I'm a good basketball player. I know that because I've put in the work to be a good basketball player. I'm a hell of a lot better than I was when I was in college. And when I was in college, I was a pretty limited player, but I was good enough to get my school paid for, right? And I feel confident saying that I'm a good basketball player because I've paid the dues, right? I would never say that about guitar. It's my second hobby. I do devote a good amount of time to it, probably like 5 hours a week. And so I love it. I have fun with it, but like, I'll probably dive more full into it when I'm done playing basketball. I'm 32. I turned 33 in August. Got probably a solid 5 years left of playing basketball at a high level. I'm going to ride that out as long as I can. And when the knees and ankles or whatever goes for me, then I'll probably devote more energy to guitar. My guitars are basically the only thing I collect. It's funny. I'm like cheap with everything else. I'm cheap with basketball shoes. I'm cheap. I'm generally a cheap guy. But guitars, I splurge on. Paul Reed Smith is my favorite brand. I've got 3 of them. This one here is the, PRS fans will recognize this as a Silver Sky. It's the John Mayer signature model, basically a Stratocaster. Absolutely love this guitar. This is my favorite guitar I've ever had. Super, super easy to play. This is a old school Fender Strat. I love the color on that one. This was the first PRS I got. This is a CE24. So it's like their classic electric. It's an American made one, but it's their lower quality wood. And then they have like bolt on necks and steel trim on it. This one's really fun to play, really easy to play. And last but not least, long reach for that one. This is my favorite. This is probably my nicest guitar, I should say. I do prefer playing the Silver Sky, but this is a hollow body 2 piezo. The piezo is basically a fancy pickup that's in the bridge that like makes acoustic sounds. But actually, ironically, I bought this because I was excited about some of the acoustic stuff that you can do. But these are the vintage 5815 pickups from PRS, and they are absolutely beautiful sounding. And because it's completely hollow, it gets like really good resonance throughout the guitar. This one is just beautiful. This one's like literally like probably the nicest like piece of art that I own. I absolutely love this guitar. As you can see, it's got like 2 inputs in it so that you can do the acoustic and the electric stuff. But anyway, like I said, you're not gonna see any videos of me playing for a while, but I do love playing guitar. It is like kind of like my side hobby, and I do plan on diving into it more when the basketball days are over. That's all I got for today, guys. As always, I sincerely appreciate you guys for supporting the show. Again, we're going to be back tomorrow morning with a preview of Pacers Bucks, and then after that, we're going to get into our instant reaction shows for the playing games tomorrow. I will see you guys then.